traveled the country. That's why the South is so critical to this battle. I've been to the Northwest. I've been to the Northeast, Southwest. The thing that's unusual about the South compared to a lot of places in this country is how serious Christian values, church, going to school, church schools, going to church on Sunday, how seriously the South takes that. And I'm sure it's not a surprise to any of you, from Alice in Texas to the rest of you ladies in Alabama. I'm sure it's not a surprise to any of you. That's why the South is singled out, too, for the most ridicule and scorn by the intellectual elite in this country. It's because of those values. And as Alice said earlier, if we're going to win this battle, if we're going to turn this around, it's going to have to be through the kinds of values, the kinds of good Christian moral and ethical values that typify the South in many ways, which is why they're coming after you harder than other people. It's why the new CEO of Apple, as if he doesn't have bigger things to do, the new CEO of Apple uses his new platform to promote his gayness, if I may use that word, to come after his state of Alabama. All right, that now that I've become the CEO of Apple, I'm going to use my clout and effort to transform Apple the way I think it should be. That kind of stuff. So there is hope. I think there are a lot of kids in this country who aren't stupid. A lot of them who see the kinds of one-sided indoctrination they're getting, but they're going to keep getting blowback. Kids like that, they got to have tough skin, because those are the kind of kids that these systems, including the new Alabama Comprehensive Behavioral Analysis System, these are the kind of kids that they're trying to break. They're trying to, the kids that do practice abstinence, the kids that want to save themselves till marriage, the kids that want to join the Army or the Marine Corps, the ones that are patriotic, the kids who do want to play and be all-American kind of kids. These are the ones who are going to have to be broken and molded to fit the kind of progressive profile that we're seeing coming down through the school.
Speaking of the comprehensive counseling guidance, one of the things that I think parents need to get are the penalties. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because I think it's opening the door for parents really to be penalized.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. If the school is now dictating what your kids must believe, the thing about Common Core and all this related junk, it's no longer critical thinking. Critical thinking means you provide kids with a variety of options on an issue, and you let them decide what they believe. That's critical thinking. What Common Core is that now they're defining, the state is defining how you will define things. The state is defining how you will classify marriage. You no longer have a choice to be anti-gay marriage. You no longer have a choice to refuse to conform to the new trends in marriage. If you do, if you are not for it, if you do not define marriage the way the state now says you must, then you are intolerant. And then the state now can make a case that somebody in that kid's family has mistaught them, has bullied them, has given them destructive information. So in a sense now, what the federal government is doing is it's going to be able to use your unwillingness to conform to what they say your kids should know. That now is going to open you up to visits from Child Protective Service, to intervention from the government. If your child grew up in a Christian home and he respectfully believes marriage is between a man and a woman, somebody's abusing that child. Your child's going to have to define marriage the way the state says. So in other words, this is not critical thinking. This is not allowing kids to be what they are and to believe what they do in their hearts. It's the government now stepping in and telling them, this is what you're going to think about Islam. This is what you're going to think about marriage. This is what you're going to think about sexuality. And any kid who doesn't express those opinions, it starts out by classifying them in these ridiculous systems like the one Mr. Bice is pushing in Alabama. Suddenly a kid who is traditionally Christian or doesn't believe in transgenderism or is suspicious of Islam, given what he's seen it do across the world, a kid like that now is going to be classified as a behavioral problem or a psychological case problem, or a kid who's being emotionally bullied at home into hating other people or other groups. And once they start doing this in the name of health care, they classify any kid who doesn't agree with the party line, any kid who doesn't is sick or emotionally abused or disturbed. Then they come after the family, right? Your kid said this, and your kid wore a stupid T-shirt to school today. And on the basis of that, we're concerned for his mental health. We're concerned that he's not getting proper guidance at home. And so the penalties can be anything from, like what you saw, some arrogant superintendent banning a simple T-shirt to forcing your kids into psychological counseling. And don't forget, as we said 20 minutes ago, they're building schools and they're building clinics on schools now where they're going to have doctors and nurses and psychological experts there. Your kid shows up to class and expresses his tradition Christianal view of marriage, I guarantee you they're going to send that kid right down to the psychiatrist. And that psychiatrist is going to classify that kid as some kind of syndrome, some kind of derangement, some kind of psychological issue, simply because of what he thinks marriage was. And this is how they begin. And that's bullying. They're going to bully your kids. They're going to medicate your kids. They're going to isolate your kids and shame your kids, all on the basis of simply not conforming to the party line.